নমস্কাৰ প্ৰিয় দৰ্শক বিৰতিৰ পিছত সকলোকে স্বাগতম জনাইছো আমাৰ বিশেষ অনুষ্ঠান উদ্যমী অসম উইমেন ইন বিজনেছ মিতা আপুনি ইমানখিনি গভৰ্ণমেণ্ট স্কিম আছে কিন্তু আমাৰ যিসকলে বিজনেছ আৰম্ভ কৰিব বিচাৰিছে মহিলাসকল নাৰীসকল তেওঁলোকে নাজানে দে ডু নট নো দে আৰ নট এৱেৰ অফ দোজ গভৰ্ণমেণ্ট স্কিমছ so these are not being utilized the way it should have been so can I ki ko bisaribo
the first thing I would say ki whenever a woman wants to jump into a business they really need to understand ki moi business korim that's okay fine but they really need to understand what are the facilities which are already there for me for that they need to talk to people
that is the first step
the first thing in case of startup young people are really aware that there is something called Startup India, Stand Up India. There are sites, there are ministry sites, everyone has a mobile site or gole hole you have to register and then you get a lot of help. They will connect with you automatically. Then similarly in when you talk of moi okhomor kotha kom we have the Department of Industries Commerce Mamoni Modanat ase people who know go there register themselves they have access because the ICC also helps them in terms of various linkages including funding they do not fund themselves but they can help you to what are the various schemes of the government how do we process the papers how do we get this fund I do agree that still there's a lot of lack in awareness and sensitization there should be more programs and more agencies coming forward who should actually go to every strata and to every section of women to make them aware that these are there now since we are already moving the country itself is moving towards promoting entrepreneurship in a big way these things needs to be plenty of schemes and policies are there this thing needs to be accessed by women
grampreneurs rural entrepreneur kini karone how to তেওঁলোকক কেনেকৈ জনাব পৰা যায় এইবোৰ কথা কি ভাবে
rural entrepreneurship কাৰণে গভৰ্ণমেণ্ট কি হয় কিছুমান ইমপ্লিমেন্টিং এজেন্সি আছে গৈ আছে because we spoke about clusters of 2-3 scheme ase aspire ase spurti ase MSc CDP scheme ase to lot of in fact if we talk of Northeast the largest market share is from the rural entrepreneurship amar mohila bilak junbilak handloom and handicraft ase most of them they are rural women entrepreneurs even in food processing so and the funding is much more easier for them
yes funding scheme is funding easier
for them so the percentage of women from rural are actually more even if they are in that smallest segment very micro level but still they are more in numbers
right Arundhati apni kiba ta kobo bisarise
moi eta kotha add koribo bisarisilo recently etu women entrepreneurship or specific nahoy it's about startup so recently amar eta program hoisile Northeast Startup Festival tate ami bahut mane all across the Northeast belek state opora students ahise hiyote nijor startup pitching korise so hetu mo kobo bisarisu je etu ebar prothom bar karone hoise etu program so we'll need more of these kind of programs to bring the awareness hiyote ahise investors or logot kotha patise so there are sharing of ideas happening on stage off stage so hiyote bahut bhal paise participate kori pelai so we'll give them mentoring and incubation dia hobo hiyotok aru okoman fund dia hobo so I think these kind of things are coming up it is slowly mane awareness to all up ke create hoise and we need to work more on it aru
I would like to add one more thing. There are a lot of conclaves also happening on women, business conclave here. I think recently even IIT Guwahati has done an industry entrepreneur conclave. Similarly, the ICC does. Assam government also has been doing women and where they are actually encouraging rural women entrepreneurs. They are bringing them to the city. They are conducting seminars, for them, specifically with them and connecting them to the bankers also. So some efforts are ongoing
বিভিন্ন কাম হৈ থকা দেখা গৈছে মই নিমিছা আপোনাক খুদিব বিচাৰিম জেনাৰেলি আমি এমাহ প্ৰায় 2 মাহ মানৰ পৰা এই শোটো কৰি আছিলো এন্টাৰপ্ৰেনাৰশিপৰ ওপৰত বিশেষকৈ দেখা পাইছো নাৰীসকলক দেখা পাইছো মাইক্ৰো এন্টাৰপ্ৰাইজ বা কটেজ ইন্ডাষ্ট্ৰিৰ লগত জড়িত বিয়ন্ড দ্যাট মই কোৱা নাই খিনি বেয়া বুলি আমাৰ হিউজ এটা নেটৱৰ্ক আছে উইমেন আৰ্টিসান ফ্ৰম দি ভিলেজেস কিন্তু তাৰ বিয়ন্ড দ্যাট অন্য যিবোৰ সেক্টৰ আছে ফ্লোৰিশিং সেক্টৰ যিবোৰ সেক্টৰত কাম কৰি বিভিন্ন জনৰ বিভিন্ন কোম্পানী আজি ইণ্ডিয়াত ইউনিকৰ্ন হৈছে অসমত নাৰী পাৰ্টিচিপেশ্যন সেইবোৰত কম দেখা পোৱা যায় গতিকে মোক কক স্কোপ কি আছে নৰ্থ ইষ্টত বিয়ণ্ড কটেজ ইণ্ডাষ্ট্ৰি এণ্ড মাইক্ৰ' এণ্টাৰপ্ৰাইজেছ কি আছে বা অসমৰ নাৰী সেইবোৰৰ প্ৰতি এনকাৰেজ কিয় নহয় নাযায় কিয়
So firstly, it's about my startup or kotha I would like to bring to the highlight. Je eta startup or scalability lage. If somebody is running a startup, it has to scale. Itia moyu kobo bisara nai je micro enterprises ba jonto entrepreneurial spirit that we have seen in our women of Northeast hetu je beya hoy that should be discouraged, not at all. But startup at a scale koribo karone the primary requirement is that it has to be tech based hole scalability to all of easy hoy jay kintu we have seen that women especially they lean more towards enterprises, they lean more towards traditional businesses, which is very good. But startup or kotha kobole gole they do not have I have not seen a lot of representation of women in the startup ecosystem. Investors are very skeptical of investing in woman founded startups. Hetu eta societal behavior or change ahibo lagibo, the approach has to be a little different. Government is definitely promoting women entrepreneurs, but society has shift eta ahibo lagibo, which slowly it is coming, but it has to be fast tracked. Itia representation nai when we look at major companies or board or there are no women. Hey bostutu jetia ami change koribo parim when we put our women up in higher management positions, when we give them equal opportunities, when we give them the required push, only then mohila startup or line or two they will lean towards the startup rather than going into traditional businesses, or that is very much required. Unicorns board a lot of eta duta unicorn ase we can count them on our fingers. Unicorns run by women, founded by women, but that should be different. It should be an equal ecosystem is equal to all our to its men and women. But his societal change at anibo lagibo, eta behavior approach change ahibo lagibo. We need to habituate ourselves with seeing women in higher management positions, and only then when I see when I see my mother as a VP of the company, only then I'll be encouraged to become reach that position.
Role model
representation definitely lagibo.
Encouraged hoy tech based apuni kole tech based hobo lage ta startup tetia scalability thake.
It's not a requisite, it's not a mandate, but primarily at a it's a requirement at a thake.
Generally, Mita, how do you react?
I'll just change it a little bit. Jodi at a Prime Minister Employment Generation Yojana se, I really do not know how many of you have taken fund. If you see the record since its launch, there has been 1.3 lakh projects which has been set up by women entrepreneurs under this scheme up till 2019, pre-COVID. If you see, these are not startup also, forget about unicorns. So and if you see in terms of number of women entrepreneurs who have not only started and given employment, direct employment, and India ki hai women entrepreneurs, how is it defined? It is an enterprise which is owned by a woman, has a minimum financial interest of 51% of the capital, and also which at least gives 51% of employment generation to women itself. So hetu khetrot dekhi gole, if we see in terms of scalers, there are 22 to 27 million people who have been provided direct employment under women scheme. So ei gote women or ebilak they come from all, they are not startup, they are women entrepreneurs in general and dynasty.
Right, hoy প্ৰিয় দৰ্শক এটা বিৰতি ল'ব লাগিব, বিৰতিৰ পিছত পুনৰ আলোচনা আগবঢ়াই লৈ যাম।
এতিয়া বিশ্বই জানে ষ্ট্ৰং মানে